We all know that Atlanta was burnt down by General Sherman near the end of the Civil War. It has been immortalized in Gone with the Wind, and it's this tragic origin story that has made the phoenix such a fitting symbol for the city of Atlanta. But General Sherman didn't burn down all of Atlanta. There was one Atlanta citizen, an Irish Catholic priest, who convinced Sherman to spare his church, the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, as well as other surrounding churches that lie in the heart of Atlanta.
Most people think that the city of Atlanta was completely torched during the Civil War, but to get some context on that and to hear the, real story, we're talking to David Mitchell of Atlanta Preservation Center.
How you doing,
Dave, I'm doing well. What's the story?
Well, I think it's kind of a neat backdrop to have the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception behind us, which is one of the significant buildings during the Battle of Atlanta, July 22nd, that kind of area coming in. Father Riley comes out, please don't burn this, the troops don't burn it. You have saying it's kind of part of our local lore of this thing. Now this building is the backdrop in a certain way for the consistent and constant change.
So you're saying this church and a few other structures, sacred structures, were spared by Sherman, and here it is, sort of a, microcosm of the story of Atlanta.
So often when you hear war, you think of this concept of burning as, Sherman is credited with making Georgia howl. These type things. It's hard to find a sense of humanity, duality in this stuff. And also too, so often, so much of this stuff is attributed to this person did this or this person did that. Their underlings did certain things. So how it all takes place is really unique, and it's kind of like the truth is always hidden behind the story. As we talk about Atlanta, our symbols, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Sherman burned Atlanta. We had the fire of the early part of the 20th century, 1970. We have all these fires. We talk about like the burning and the removal of everything. Yet we have these little pieces of historical eruption kind of dropped throughout the city that tether us to these stories and these pasts, and how we see them or view them becomes this constant challenge.
So if these walls could talk to you, what do they say?
I think the biggest thing what they say to me is, ha ha ha, we made it. All these places in Atlanta has spent so much time trying to, in certain ways, define itself and create itself and reestablish itself and speak to others about who and what we are. Yet we have definers like this that exist, that have already been present the whole time, that we don't really embrace or showcase in the way we probably should.
To find out more about the history of the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, we're here with Ralph Bailey. Ralph, what is the story of the shrine?
Well, the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception is the first Catholic church in the city of Atlanta. It was founded in 1848, and it was administered to by missionary priests who came mostly from Savannah, and they came up here and ministered to the Catholics who were here. Mostly were Irish Catholics who were working on the railroad. Atlanta, as you know, is a hub of transportation, and our reason for being here was the train. We were the end of the line. And a city, a town rather, I guess, or village, perhaps we should say, sprang up here, and then the population grew, and finally this little church was established. The church is most famous here in Atlanta because of Father O'Reilly, who was here during the war between the states. General Sherman marched through Georgia. Atlanta was very strategic to the Confederacy. It was a transportation and hospital center. Atlanta had to be captured. It had to divide the Confederacy. The Battle of Atlanta was fought on July 22nd, 1864. The city fell. He occupied the city, was here for about a month or so, and then ordered it burned. Father O'Reilly approached the general on his staff and said, "Do not burn the churches. It's outside the confines of war. You should not burn a church." General Sherman threatened to have him executed, but his better nature, I guess, prevailed, which is a little bit of a side story there, in that there were many Catholic soldiers in the Union Army. They were Irish Catholics, and they had become very fond of Father O'Reilly. And he told General Sherman that if you burn my church, burn the other churches, he says, the Catholics in your army will mutiny. He says, and those that don't, I'll excommunicate. So the little implication there was enough that, that he did not burn the churches. He saved Immaculate Conception, he saved Central Presbyterian, St. Philip's Episcopal Church, Trinity Methodist, and I think it was First Baptist Church, so he saved 5 churches. All 5 of those churches are still here in Atlanta. Only 3 of us are still downtown, the Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Church, and of course, Immaculate Conception. We're all here. The other 2 are in North Atlanta now, so all 5 congregations are still active. Father O'Reilly died in 1872. He was in Virginia. He had gone up there to help restore his health. Well, he died while he was up there and he was brought back. His funeral was here. Well, he's buried here. And this is a secret in Atlanta, that there is a priest buried in a church, but we lost him. We don't, a lot of people said there was just a rumor that he was here, but nobody could definitely say that he was. Well, in 1982, we had a fire. The roof collapsed. What you see now was restored from that point after that. And during the reconstruction of the church, he was found. But we did have a surprise. We found a second priest. We have 2 priests buried here. Father O'Reilly is here, and so is Father Cleary. Father Cleary was pastor, I think, in the 1880s, and they both are buried under the church here.
Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure.
Go see the crypt.
We'll go down to see the crypt. I'll be proud to introduce you to Father O'Reilly and to Father Cleary. This is where we found Father O'Reilly and Father Cleary, who was a surprise to us. We knew that Father O'Reilly was rumored to be buried here, but when they started digging around and they found both of them, we were surprised to find Father Cleary.
So here they were hidden behind these
They were hidden
thick
behind
brick walls.
actually it's 2 walls. This wall, as you see, is different, but they were back here. This was storage in front of it. There was a kitchen in front of it. There were rumors that I've heard older parishioners had shared that children were afraid to play back here because, well, the priests are buried there, but everybody thought that was just a rumor, that we had someone buried here.
Makes you wonder about other rumors that we hear.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, if these walls could talk.
Oh yes, these are quite a lot of history here, a lot of history. The sign out front says this is Atlanta's most historic church. And I might have to believe, agree with that as well.
Not just a rumor.
Not just a rumor there, no ma'am.